Miss Sabo here. Today's lesson, dividing with decimals. Let's take a look. All right, we've got our first problem, 89 divided by 5. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up a long division box. I'm going to go ahead and put 89 inside the box. And what I'm dividing by, or my divisor, goes on the outside. So this problem is nothing more than just simple long division. So I look first. I'm dividing 8 by 5, which will divide one time. 1 times 5 is 5, with 3 left over. I'm going to bring down that 9. And I'm going to say 39 divided by 5 will divide 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35, with 4 left over. Now, we talked a lot in class about how in elementary school we would go ahead and put a little remainder 4 up there. And all that means is that I can't fit another equal group. Well, in 6th grade, we're using a decimal to show a little bit of that partial amount. So I say, I know that 89 is equivalent to 89 and 0, 89.0. So in that case, I can go ahead and bring down that 0. And now I can say 40 will divide by 5 8 times evenly with nothing left over. Whoops, I've extended my page there. And as long as I have lined everything else up on top, I can go ahead and bring up that answer for a total of 17 and 8/10. I can always check these kind with multiplication by saying 17 and 8/10 times 5 will in fact get me an answer of 89, so I know that I'm correct. I've also told students if you have a repeating decimal, meaning it goes on and on and on and on, then in that case just divide out to the hundredths place or the thousandths place, and you'll be sure that you're correct. There's no need to go on and on and on. All right, let's look at the second one. 2 and 23 hundredths divided by 5. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 and 23 hundredths inside my long division box and my divisor on the outside.
Warner Lang, please report to the front office. Warner Lang, please report to the front office.
Warner, report to the front office. All right, so if I look at this, 2 cannot divide by 5 in this case, so I'm going to look at 22. 22 will divide by 5 4 times. Notice I went ahead and put that 4 on top of that 22 because that's what I've divided. Bring down that 2. Or subtracting it 2 and bring down that 3. 23 will divide by 5 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20 with 3 left over. I'm going to go ahead and bring down that 0 again. And 30 will divide by 5 6 times with no remainder. I'm going to go ahead and bring up that decimal point, and I end up with 446 thousandths as my quotient. Let's look at one that's a little bit different. Let's say I have a decimal divided by a decimal. But when I think about division, I know that I'm putting things into equal groups. I might be putting it into 5 groups, into 6 groups, into 7 groups, depending on whatever my divisor is on the outside. But when I start trying to think about putting something into 15 hundredths of a group, it gets awfully confusing. So what I do is I write a problem that has an equivalent ratio, which means I have to change my dividend and my divisor in equal ratios. So what I do is I look at my outside number, my decimal on the outside, and I say to make that a whole number, because I can think about putting something in 15 groups, but not 15 hundredths groups. That's a little messy. So I'm going to go ahead and make that a whole number. I moved it 2 decimal places to make it a whole number, or 15. Whatever I do to the outside, I need to do to the inside so that I keep it in equal ratio. So I'm going to also move my decimal point to the right 2 spaces there to give me 24 and 5/10. As long as I do the same thing to the outside as I do to the inside, I've kept an equivalent ratio and I'm okay. So in this case now, 15 will divide into 24 one time. With 9 left over, I'm going to go ahead and bring down that 5. And let's think about this. My multiple